Canon 2025 brought a ton of new lenses. Some were game changers and others not so much. I've tested all of these, so I'm here to let you know which ones are actually worth your money. And we have a nice mixture of budget-friendly lenses and high-end ones too. Hi, I'm Trotti. In case you're new here, let's get into it. The first lens I reviewed this year is the Nikon 35mm f1.2. By the way, this list is not going to be every single lens that was released, just the ones that I've used, so I have examples to show you, but we do have 13 lenses to get through. The Nikon 35mm f1.2 started off the year strong. It is a standout lens that delivers stunning image quality, and you can confidently shoot wide open without worrying about sharpness. I found I didn't need to stop down to get sharp results. Nikon clearly put everything into this lens, and it shows in the image quality. Yes, it comes with a big price tag, but if you're after that beautiful rendering, sharpness, and creamy depth of field, I think this lens is absolutely worth it. That said, it's not for everyone. If you mainly shoot travel or want something lightweight, this lens might be overkill, but if image quality is your top priority, this is one of the strongest 35mm lenses I've used from any brand. The next lens I tested out is the Sony 50-150mm f2 GM, which was a fun release as it's such a unique zoom lens. The image quality is exactly what you'd expect from G Master glass. It's super sharp, excellent contrast, and has that fast f2 aperture for background to foreground separation. This lens makes a lot of sense for portrait and wedding photographers because it can realistically replace your 50, 85, and 135 primes. That means less gear in your bag and less time swapping lenses during a shoot. The main alternative to consider is the Sony 70-200 f2.8 GM2, which I personally own. It's smaller, lighter, and works with teleconverters, so it really comes down to whether you value the extra stop of light or the extended focal range more, but image quality and performance-wise, you won't be disappointed. The third lens I reviewed is the Lumix 24-60mm f2.8, which is a really solid standard zoom lens for Lumix shooters. It does have a slightly shorter long end compared to traditional 24-70 zooms, but that's what allows it to stay smaller and lighter. I actually traveled through Oregon using this lens for most of the trip, and it was really comfortable to carry and hike with every day. So if you value portability but don't want to sacrifice image quality, then this lens makes a lot of sense. While traveling, I didn't feel limited by the 60mm end, as I also usually travel with either an 85 or a 70-200 for those longer shots, so I did prefer that this lens was on the smaller and lighter side. The Viltrox 85mm f1.4 is next. I uploaded a review and comparison video against the Sony 85mm f1.4 GM2. By the way, I'll leave all my review videos for each of these lenses linked down below if you're interested in seeing more images and learning more about any of them. This Viltrox is a good affordable 85mm option for Sony E-mount, but you do have to keep your expectations realistic. There are some optical quirks with this lens, and the performance is not going to be as fast as GM glass, but overall, for beginners, hobbyists, or if you're shooting slower portrait sessions where you can take your time, it performs really well. I was also, as you can see, able to capture some really beautiful images with it. So like I said, definitely a good affordable 85 option for E-mount. There is also the Viltrox 35mm f1.2 that released this year. Now, this lens I have used, as you can see from this photo shoot here, but I haven't uploaded the review just yet. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions you want me to answer in that video, as I do still need to edit it. But it's really great to have some 35 f1.2 lens options now for E-mount. We have this Viltrox and the Sigma 35 f1.2, which was also released this year for E and L mount. Similarly to the Viltrox 85mm, I wouldn't recommend this 35 for very fast-paced events or action, as performance can be a bit slower than higher-end lenses. But again, for controlled shoots, it's absolutely usable and you can get some great results. Next on the list, we have the Canon 35mm f1.4 VCM for RF mount. Now, this one I won't be uploading a review about as it did come out around a year ago, but I have used it a fair amount recently while testing the Canon R6 III. This is a really solid 35mm option for Canon users. It produces really nice, sharp images. There is a bit of flaring and chromatic aberration I noticed going on, but overall, this is a workhorse lens with solid performance. I was easily able to rely on it during my photo shoots, and it's definitely worth it. Now we have the Tamron 16 to 30mm f2.8 G2 for E and Z mount. This is the second generation lens to the original Tamron 17 to 28 f2.8. So this new lens is now a few millimeters wider and longer. I was pleasantly surprised with this lens. It's not a conventional portrait lens, but you know, on this channel, I will use everything for portrait photography, so we can have consistent reviews and images to look at. But I still ended up really happy with the shots we captured. It forced me to think more creatively about composition. So if you like environmental portraits or storytelling images, this lens can actually be a lot of fun. Realistically, I think this is going to be a lens popular for video and also photographers doing travel and landscape photography, as it's a great wide-angle option where you can travel light without giving up on image quality. This year, the Sigma 135mm f1.4 was released, and this is a gorgeous lens for portrait photographers. It features a slightly larger aperture than most flagship 135mm lenses that are typically f1.8. This lens is exceptionally sharp and provides that really dreamy, creamy background that 135mm lenses are loved for. This lens is available for both Sony E-mount and L-mount, and I was using it on the Lumix S1R2 for my testing. I did have some close focusing AF issues in video mode, which you can see more about in my review, and the only other downside I really have for this lens is that it is not subtle. It's quite large and can potentially be intimidating to clients who are not super comfortable being in front of the camera, but the results just really speak for themselves. This was one of my favorite photo shoots from last year for sure. Next up is another review I'm in the process of putting together to upload for you, and it's the Canon 85mm f1.4 VCM. I really like the direction Canon is going in with this lineup of lenses. So far, they are all the same size and same filter thread, which feels very cohesive as a system and makes life nice and easy. Lumix also have done this with their f1.8 lineup of lenses, which I use a lot while traveling for this reason. These are the images I captured with the 85 during my R6 III review, as I don't want to spoil the photo shoot we did for this one just yet. The Nikon 24 to 70mm f2.8 Mark II was another important release this year, bringing some very welcome updates that were needed for their high-end standard zoom. From my review, where I took plenty of comparison images, the sharpness level looks pretty similar to the Mark I, to be honest, but aside from that, there have been some big updates. The coatings have been updated for better contrast and flare control, there's upgraded focus motors for better performance, and for me, the biggest standout of it all is it now has internal zoom, so big win from Nikon there again. We've only got a few more lenses to go, so the next release is the Lumix 100 to 500 f5 to 7.1. This was a very necessary lens for Lumix, as they didn't really have a strong wildlife photography option before this release. The weight was definitely worth it though. The image quality is excellent, and the lens is surprisingly lightweight for the reach you're getting. I was getting quite a lot of flaring with this lens, however, since it's so long, I don't think that would be a regular issue you would face with it. Next is the Laowa 200mm f2 for E-mount, and this is probably the only lens on this list that left me wanting just a little bit more. Don't get me wrong, it's still a good lens, but I find the bokeh is a bit too nervous, and it's quite a specialty lens as well. You need a lot of physical space to shoot with it, which can make it tricky on location. Aside from that, you can definitely capture super dreamy photos with it, and the lens flares are really pretty as well. The second last lens is the last review I uploaded, which is the Canon 45mm f1.2. F1.2 glass for Canon under $1,000 almost sounds too good to be true. Since I just uploaded that, you should really go and watch the review for this one. I used it for photo and video on the R6 III and have so many example photos for you to look at. I'm calling it now, this is going to become the new nifty 50 for RF mount users. Last but not least is the Tamron 25 to 200mm. Tamron has a lot of super zoom style lenses that cover a huge focal range. This lens is not quite as large in its range compared to some of the others they've released, but they make up for that by delivering it in quite a small and lightweight package. And I am working on this review, I've almost finished editing it, so I will be uploading it in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. But let me know in the comments what lenses you're hoping to see in 2026. For me, I would love to see a Sony 35mm f1.2, a Nikon 70 to 200 f2.8 Mark II. I want to see some fast prime lenses from Lumix. But thank you so much for watching. I make new videos every single week, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.